This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 1907. Previews.
Welcome to Comic Geek Speak. I'm Ian Levesine.
I'm Adam Murdo.
I'm Chris Eberly.
Sonorous tones of the rock and roll version of the theme and sonorous tones of Chris and Murd. Welcome us back to another previews time here. And once again, right at the very end of the month, but still counts, baby, still counts.
Under a wire.
Indeed. We got our picks for the month of September ready to come at you here. And by my surprise, as we were discussing pre-show, Image still has a section in Diamond Previews as of this month. They also have their own book. For now, we're going to keep it in the previews selections, and if we notice in coming months that it goes down to like 3 or 4 pages or what have you, then we might add in their own things similar to what DC and Marvel have. But for now, they still have their preview section. That's what we're going to roll with, and they are, however, behind Boom now and Dynamite in the selections, so we'll be switching things up ever so slightly in our picks. But we are happy to have you here, and we hope that we at least draw your attention to some excellent gems in this month's previews, including friends of the show that have a couple of books that we will definitely be mentioning when we do get to them. But Foist.
Boy chick.
Boy chick. Patreon.com/Comic Geek Speak. We thank you so much for your continued support of the show and the donations that you bring each and every month. That is going to be greatly appreciated. As we mentioned on our last conversation that we had here with Shane involved as well, the four of us, there was a little bit of water damage at the in-person studio that we're going to have to be addressing over the next couple of months. And also, for that matter, we kind of need some new equipment. So we're going to be upgrading things a little bit in that end, and your continued donations to the show, however you give it, really do help that happen and ensure that this show keeps rolling, whether it be virtual or in person. And we thank you so much for all of that continued support.
Thank you.
Amen.
Patreon.com/Comic Geek Speak for as little as $1 a month. Old school donations are still available. ComicGeekSpeak.com/donate.php if you want to do the PayPal route, or just spread the word about the show any way you can, whether it be iTunes reviews or telling a friend or going to your comic shop and being like, oh, hey, I listened to this great podcast that's existed for longer than I've existed. Hey, why don't you and that it matters just as much. So thank you so much. Patreon.com/Comic Geek Speak for all that goodness. And now, previews time. Let's get this party rolling here. Share my screen. And it just makes me happy that the cover of previews, issue 418, has the evilest of ducks on it.
As a matter of fact, both covers of this previews catalog have the evilest of ducks on them.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, the toy versions of Negaduck and Darkwing Duck on the secondary cover. So yeah, this makes me happy, and we'll get to the solicitation for said comic in just a short while here. But yes, it is very much an evil time over at Dynamite. Man, I love me some Negaduck. All right, let's start it off with Boom then, as it is now the first out of the gate in the previews catalog. Starting things off with Coda, number 1 of 5, as Coda returns. Cy Spurrier and Martheus Bergara start a new 5-issue miniseries of Coda. Have any of you guys checked out Coda before?
I have not read Coda.
No, sir.
Okay, I know it was very well praised in both Eisner's and other spaces over the years, and it also was a GLAAD Media Award winner at the time, or Cy Spurrier was, and he, I believe, was also nominated for this. But in this brand new adventure in the Eisner Award nominated apocalyptic fantasy world of Coda, the despondent bard Hum finds a slice of tranquility with his wife, the Urkin named Circa, in an ever-darkening magicless apocalypse, or so it seems, which means there's probably magic. Prophecies of paradise and the return of magic. Hum is skeptical while Circa faces difficult moral decisions on the road, with winter quickly approaching. This new 5-issue mini begins here on page 34, and the previous edition of said Coda is also available. I know that as well. So if you do want to catch yourself up, just go ahead and find a trade, and you will make that happen. Page 38 has Ram V's new 6-issue mini, Rare Flavors, by Philippe Andrade. The demonically delicious new series from the acclaimed team behind The Many Deaths of Lila Starr. The cover of this just makes me happy because, you know, I just got back from PR and it looks like he's enjoying some rum. Some bloody rum, perhaps. Tantalizing tale of Reuben Bax, a demonic Rakshasa with a down-to-earth dream of becoming the next Anthony Bourdain. That's a dream, all right.
Those are big shoes to fill. Big shoes to fill.
Better believe it. To achieve his vision, Reuben enlists Mo, a filmmaker who has seen better days, to document the world-renowned cuisine of India and the people behind such glorious foods. Little does Mo know there's more to Reuben than meets the eye, and the mortals play a darker role in the show than they were prepared for. That's parts unknowns, all right. I'll tell you that much. Page 38 there. I don't know how Anthony Bourdain would feel about this sucker, but
he did write a comic book before his death.
He did. You're right.
Right, came out through Dark Horse.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Involved a chef samurai, correct?
Yes, I believe so. Yep.
Interesting designs on the characters by Felipe Andrade on page 40 and page 41. Do check that out. And then page 42 gives us another 4-issue mini, Zach Thompson's unexplainable, unbelievable, undeniable, true paranormal story. It's true, we swear. 4-issue mini series. Unidentified flying objects. I mean, there was just a hearing about this in DC about how unidentified flying objects could be real. So you never know. You never know. Terrifying otherworldly cryptics. Countless strange phenomena for more than 50 years. A remote ranch in the Altna Basin has been the most significant nexus for the paranormal, inspired by one family's confrontation with the unexplainable and terrifying, and what happened when they invited the largest scientific investigation of the paranormal to their ranch. I immediately think of Nope when I think of this comic.
Good parallel. God, that movie's good.
It really, really is.
Yep.
Anybody who may have slept on that one, do check it out.
Yeah, Nope is superb.
Really, really good. Check this one out on page 42 if you're interested in a little bit of paranormal action in your life. And then
R.L. Stine.
Yes. Stuff of Nightmares, Red Murder #1.
Look at that Francavilla cover.
Man.
God.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. Adam Gorin's the internals, by the way. And wow, look at that other cover there by Miguel Marcado, the collage cover on page 47.
That hat looks like it's going to jump off the cover and cut you in half.
Yeah, right. Great to see R.L. Stine dipping his toes into the comic book world once again. and it's a nightmarish, self-contained chapter of the best-selling stuff of nightmares that readers new and old would kill for. I was also impressed by that Goosebumps movie that came out a couple of years ago. The one with
I didn't
Jack.
see it.
Not bad. Shockingly fun. Shockingly enjoyable.
You gonna go see the Haunted Mansion?
Eventually. Yeah. It's not like first on my list, but it definitely looks like it should be a lot of fun. Fans of Firefly have a new 6-issue mini by Sam Humphries.
Another Francavilla cover.
Indeed. Yep. Francavilla is all over Boom this month. But any of you fans of Firefly got a new 6-issue miniseries on page 48 to check out. And the rest are kind of all ongoings here, so I think that might be it. Unless we stop here. Page 56. The complete Klaus Deluxe Edition.
I forgot Dan Mora drew this. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it was the first time I'd ever heard of him, actually, when he partnered with Grant Morrison for this.
Yep. It's I mean, talk about a team. And I've seen images of Klaus. I've never actually read the thing outside of like a couple of preview pages, but maybe it's time, especially now that I'm a huge Dan Mora fan that I am. And a hardcover edition like this, I mean, yeah, it's $60 for 496 pages. Not a lot to sneeze at right there, page count wise, but I'm sure you can get it for further discounts at whatever retailer you manage to get it from. But it collects Klaus 1 through 7, Klaus and the Witch of Winter, Klaus and the Crisis in Xmasville, Klaus and the Crying Snowman, Klaus and the Life of Time Christmas, and Klaus Pen and Ink Edition, all in one package there on page 56.
Did you read any of this, Murd?
I have a trade of the first miniseries. I found it acceptable. I'm a little picky about my adaptations about the life and adventures of Santa Claus.
Of course.
And the Morrison's fusion of like shamanism and like Viking mythology with traditional folklore about Saint Nicholas, the gift bringer, and he put it together in an amusing way. I think it kind of went a little too far over the top afterwards. I haven't read beyond the first miniseries, but it just kind of looked that way. All right. But, it's all collected here, so folks can judge for themselves.
If any of you haven't checked out Violent Night, that's another R-rated take on Santa Claus that I thoroughly enjoyed with David Harbour, John Leguizamo, and a bunch of others. That's available on Netflix and a couple of other places if you search for it. But not exactly the Viking take on Klaus, but it has its foot in the door on the origins of Santa coming from around that era, but very much takes a different turn than I'm sure Grant Morrison did in this book. All right, anything else in Boom, gents?
I'm good.
Okay. Then I will move us on to Dynamite and said Negaduck.
Jeff Parker.
Exactly. Yep. Happy to see his name attached to this book.
Same here.
Ciro Cangliasi on the artwork floors. I am the screeching fingernail on the chalkboard of justice. I am the sour ball and the candy of goodness. I am Negaduck. The Joker to Darkwing's Batman, very much so. The foulest of them all. Pun very much intended. On page 7.
Oh, wow, and the first variant cover is by Jay Lee. Would you look at that?
Wow, man. Whew. And a Steve Lieber variant for that matter.
Ooh.
Yeah, wow. How about that? Jeff Parker made himself an action figure variant. Got to see Jeff Parker draw that one. Yeah, the interiors to this are just absolutely in the right wheelhouse. Like they very much feel like they could just be an animated episode of Darkwing's like storyboards for it. but also has its own sort of sense of personality to vary it just that much. Lush colors as well to go along with it.
Yep, it does look good.
And
Arthur seems to have a pretty good handle on the character.
Mm-hmm.
The plot is going to be that Negaduck feels a little bit crowded and redundant in St. Canard, what with all the other lesser villains getting underfoot. So he's going to seek greener pastures and find himself another hunting ground, as it were, for his criminal activities.
Wonder if he's going to wind up running into other Disney Afternoon characters along the way, perhaps.
It would be fun. And maybe he's going to try and raid Uncle Scrooge's money bin in Duckburg.
That is possible, or maybe even wind himself up in Tailspin territory, for all we know. Who knows? Well, what I do know is that page 82, Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, returns. Page 83 has the main solicitation. Wes Clark Jr., Stephen on the writing shorts for that one.
Murd, Sheena's an old pulp character, correct?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
School is in session and somebody's about to get schooled. Dynamite does a good job of bringing these older characters and older IPs back into the limelight. And this one, Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, Fatal Final Exams.
Am I correct in recalling an unsuccessful film from the 80s? That was a Sheena movie? Shane would know this immediately.
Rings a bell.
I feel like there was. Okay.
You might be right about that.
Yeah.
Or maybe a TV series? Oh, no. Yeah. Here we go. 1984 film. Yep. Sheena. Featuring Tanya Roberts as Sheena.
Tanya Roberts, that's right. Okay.
Yep. Wow. Yeah. I shockingly don't remember that since I was 0.
And I was 5 and didn't have cable, so.
It's so forlorn when you said that.
Kind of almost like a Michael Turner vibe I'm getting off of.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah.
On page 85, if you want to take a look at those are the uncolored but inked pages for what we're going to get later on. Moving on to Fire and Ice issue 2. So we mentioned issue 1 last month. Just a reminder, Bill Willingham, page 89. Untold story of the watershed animated Ralph Bakshi Frank Frazetta movie in time for its 40th anniversary. Fire and Ice issue 2 on page 89. There is a lot of Dynamite this month, and not
really is
our first issues. So I will be scrolling by a decent amount of this. So if you folks have anything you want to point out in the process, by all means. I will go to Snowboy hardcover just because it's absolutely adorable and is very much all ages on page 115. Darren Farrell and Jean Thomas. Snowboy is a charming story of friendship, community, and how a snow person finds a family. Hopefully during the winter, because worry about what would happen come spring or fall. Very, very cute on page 115.
Because I phased out for a second, I just missed your Borscht Belt joke. Well done, Ian. Well done.
No worries. They'll be there always.
I am reassured.
They're not going anywhere. All right. And we are now in Image. And look at this. Look how clean this Image catalog is now. Like, it's so weird. It took them leaving Diamond to suddenly get readable background to their section again. Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Mm-hmm. Viva legibility.
Indeed. But page 133, Tony Daniel has his first Image work, just solo work in over 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Tony Daniel on story and artwork here for Edenwood, issue 1. eons-long series of multiverse wars between demons and witches found Earth as its latest and final battleground. The battle pits Necronoma, the ever-expanding demonic land which supplanted the Midwest 20 years ago, against Edenwood, the witchcraft-controlled land that acts as a barrier against the war zone and the rest of the U.S. In the first story arc of the ongoing series, readers are introduced to Ryan, a young man born during the apocalyptic events of Southern Illinois, who is thrust into the role of hero and leader. I don't think the Cubs are winning the World Series anytime soon in this world. Page 133 for that. Covers by Mahmoud Asrar, Jorge Molina, a 1 in 25 incentive cover by Ryan Stegman, and plenty of Tony Daniel covers to go along with it. This sounds interesting. I'll have to pay attention to it. Edenwood, and I'm a fan of Tony Daniel's artwork in general, so well worth.
I could make some reading the copy. I can make some really bad political jokes, but I won't.
I'm sure you could. Page 134, Hexagon Bridge. It's a 5-issue mini by Richard Blake. Explorers Jacob and Elena Armlin find themselves trapped in a strange parallel dimension. Oh, they got me a parallel dimension. Of elusive landscapes and shifting architecture inhabited by mischievous entities. Now it's up to their clairvoyant daughter Adley and sentient robot Staden to rescue them. Interesting concept.
Sounds like fun.
The world they're stuck in sounds a little bit like Inception.
Junior Baker, the Righteous Faker.
What a name! That might be our title of the previews. Frankly, and it's Joe Casey. So there we go. Sequel to the 2011's Butcher Baker, the Righteous Maker. Now he's a righteous faker with a 5-issue mini to follow it up. Daniel Dizzy Baker, gonzo journalist chasing superhuman stories in a world that's left superheroes behind. I have to check out the original because I have not, and it's Joe Casey, so well worth checking out on page 136. Any chance you've read any of this, Murd?
No chance at all, I'm afraid.
All right. Well, it's gorgeous artwork, and it's got Joe Casey writing to go with it, so maybe worth tracking down. Series premiere on page 138 of Kill Your Darlings. There have been many things called Kill Your Darlings over the years. This is a new one. 8-year-old Rose loves nothing more than to play pretend in a magical land of her own creation. To her, that world is as real as her own. From her fluffy friends to the terrible evil that lurks at the center of it all. In one night, the line between fantasy and reality will disappear, an ancient hunger will feed again, and Rose will be pulled into a gruesome saga that began centuries before her birth. Happily ever after. You gotta love it. Kill Your Darlings there on page 138. Whoa, look at that color.
Yeah, good art.
That is
really nice.
Very, very nice.
Creep Show.
Yep. Garth Ennis and Phil Hester, anybody? With artwork by Becky Cloonan.
Becky Cloonan and Phil Hester. This is on my list immediately.
Man.
Wow.
Yeah, this is awesome.
It's Garth Ennis writing Creep Show. I mean, what else do you need to say?
Yeah. Tells the story of a grieving son who bends the law of nature to see his mother one last time. This can't end well.
Because they have a different creative team for each issue, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And this is issue 1 of 5. And I'm sure that this will be great collected.
Good anthology. All right.
Hell yeah. And then, boy, oh frickin' boy. Wow. Page 141. This one's for you, sir. Jack Kirby's Star Warriors, The Adventures of Adam Starr and the Solar Legion. One shot by the King himself and Tom Scioli. Wow.
I've never read this.
being told that it's Kirby's first cosmic hero.
Yep.
This deluxe remix of Kirby's first space epic series.
Very interesting.
We did the Kirby spotlight several years back, I totally missed this in my research. Wow.
Well, now you get your chance, sir.
Yep. All right.
Adam Starr and his Solar Legion of Star Warriors in a battle to the death with killer space pirates Black Michael, Arthak, and the Evil Armadas. Sounds Kirby to me.
$9.99 for 32 pages, though. I hope it's like tabloid sized.
I hope so too. Yeah, I hope so too.
Good point, Murd.
Yep. Page 141 for that one right there. And then 142 has the trade paperback for Almighty. Ed LaRoche's first 5 issues of Almighty collected there for you to check out. And the first volume of that on page 142. And Cosmic Detective gets the original graphic novel treatment here. Jeff Lemire,
and Matt Kint. Wow.
And David Rubin on the artwork. Whew. That sounds awesome.
An epic science fiction mystery that asks, when a god is murdered, who solves the crime?
It's a good question.
Definitely getting this.
Yep. And that's a much more manageable price for the amount of pages as well. 208 pages. The regular price is $18, so I'm sure you can get it discounted in other locations as well. But yeah, page 144 for that. Cosmic Detective by Jeff Lemire, Matt Kint, and David Rubin. Great pages on the following.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Ooh, wonderful.
I read the first issue of this, The Forged, because Rucco is the co-writer.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, I only got the first issue. I didn't get the subsequent, but it elements of it reminded me of Aliens a little bit. Not just elements though, not the whole package, but it was very intriguing. And I agree. Like they said, it has the spirit of heavy metal, very much so. So I may get it. I may pick this up to read the whole thing. It's beautiful magazine size format too.
It does appear to have a woman in some sort of fighting suit, so that really adds the alienness of it all.
Yeah.
Page 146 for that, if you do want to check it out. Then Ghosted Compendium by Josh Williamson on the next page, page 147. That collects all 20 issues of Ghosted in one package for only $30. Not bad. Local Man. Tim Seeley's Local Man gets the trade treatment. Remember checking out the first issue of that when it first hit. All 5 issues of Local Man available in trade on page 150. Declan Shelby's Old Dog also available on page 152. Got a lot of trades available this month.
I'm always happy to see that.
Yes, indeed.
And that's a trade. That's a trade I'll definitely be ordering. Astro City Metro Book Volume 4 collects the Samaritan #1, Beauty #1, Astro City Astro 1 and 2, Astro City Volume 3, 1 through 10, 17, and 22 to 24. I've been getting all of these because I want to own the entire series in this format. And because I missed elements of the series over the years. I'm looking forward to reading it right through. But I think it's fair to say one of the great superhero comics of however many past years. I mean, it's magnificent. So we talked about the one shot what was that one shot that came out some months ago, Murd, that we all loved?
That was Then.
Yes, which was wonderful. Yep.
That's all on page 156. And the rest of it's all ongoings and whatnot from the looks of it. So I think we are just about done with Image, unless there's anything else to mention. Did not see a new saga. So
no new saga. Nope.
Once again, no new saga. Just letting you folks know. No new saga.
And no, for me also no Lazarus, because that's on a very long hiatus. So.
Yes. Very true. Very true. All right. I'll end us off at the end of that and then pick it up accordingly when we are ready for it. But onward we go to DC. DC brings us to start us off, we are done with the giant ass crossover, and we have some new.
Some new giant ass crossovers. Slightly less giant, but no less ass.
Murd, the profundities.
But
Batman, Catwoman, The Gotham War, Battle Lines #1. Chip Zdarsky and Teeny Howard. Art by Mike Hawthorne and Adriano
Benedetto.
Benedetto, thank you. On page 2 here. It's Zdarsky, so it's going to be worth checking out. And it's a Batman Catwoman story, so that's immediately going to be good for Chris as well.
Yep.
Crime is down in Gotham City. Could that be a bad thing? Well, if you're a vigilante who goes out at night, it might be.
Deep Thoughts by Ian Levinstein.
Now, Deep Thoughts by Jack Hanley. All right. Matt Rosenberg gives us Batman, Catwoman, The Gotham War, Red Hood, issue 1 on the following page 3. But then just straight up Batman 137, Chip Zdarsky, Jorge Jimenez. As we get Batman descending on Gotham City full of rage and force, more driven than ever to save his home. But the new landscape has turned friends into foes. Can anyone stop his reign of terror? Should they? The Gotham War continues in this second chapter.
Here's a new Batman Robin #1 written by Josh Williamson.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Art by Simone DeMeo. Yep. I may have mispronounced that. I apologize.
Yeah, and this is the first time in a while that that Bruce and Damian have actually been together. They've been separated in the comics for a little while now as Damian went off on his own adventures. And now here they are back as a team on page 6. A lot has happened with the dynamic duo, but now they're back together and ready to fight crime in Gotham just in time for Batman's most monstrous rogues to team up to turn the city into an urban jungle.
Looks like we got Man-Bat, Killer Croc. Who else is in there, Murd?
Oh, I can see Orca there in the lower
that's
left.
Right. Yeah.
All right. It's basically the Gotham City Monsters squad, except they're not the protagonists this time.
Mm-mm.
Very good, very good, very good. And then a new Birds of Prey ongoing on page 8. Kelly Thompson with art and cover by Leonardo Romero. Every mission matters. Every life saved is a miracle, but this time it's personal. Dinah Lance is one of DCU's most elite fighters, and combined with her sonic scream, she's fearsome foe in any scenario, but sometimes even the Black Canary needs help. And she gathers together Cassandra Cain, Big Barda, Zealot, and Harley Quinn, and only one goal: extraction without bloodshed. What could possibly go wrong? Probably most things.
Kelly Thompson's first work for DC.
Very nice to see.
Like the art very much.
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of Birds of Prey in general. So I'm hoping that this is a little bit closer to, Gale's Birds than we've gotten in the past couple of years. I mean, I did enjoy what the Benson sisters gave us in Birds of Prey, a couple of years back. But since then, we haven't really gotten much. So hopefully Kelly will get the job done. Then issue 2 of the Penguin graces our presence on page 10.
We'll talk about #1 once we have it in our hands.
Batman Brave and the Bold, issue 5 on page 11. Tom King, Ed Brisson, Rob Williams, art by Mitch Gerads, Jeff Spokes, Stefano Landini, and Jorge Fornes. Man, these continue to be really great creative teams working on.
Yeah, they sure are.
Stuff. And Ed Brisson and Jorge Fornes brings an epic story to the pages of Batman Black and White. All 4 it's here on page 11. Stormwatch involved with this particular Batman Brave and the Bold issue as well.
God.
Redondo, baby, Redondo.
In our next comic talk, we'll discuss the You Are Nightwing, the POV issue.
Oh, yes.
Man, oh man. Oh God.
Well,
Go ahead, Ian. I'm sorry.
no, I was just going to say it. It's great to have Redondo back on the main interior after a couple of months off.
His artwork is it's like on another level. It's just there's most everybody else, and there's a couple people, and like he's in that elite class right now. It's just amazing work.
Yeah,
so thrilling.
Plus, a lot of my favorite current artists are out of DC. Like it's hard for me to admit otherwise, but yeah, it's very true. New villain alert on page 13. That's the first time I've seen that in a while. Poison Ivy number 14 brings us a new villain for Poison Ivy. Back in Gotham City, as Poison Ivy investigates the inner workings of a strange new skyscraper in Gotham, she finds herself up to her neck in a surreal and slimy mystery. And at its center, a brand new villain in the Poison Ivy pantheon of rogues. Plus, is Janet from HR cheating on Ivy? What? Well, we'll find out who this new villain is in issue 14 of Poison Ivy. The Poison Ivy series has been way better than it ever deserves to be. Let's just put it that way. Like when I heard about it, I was like, oh wait, do I really need to read like a regular ongoing of Poison Ivy of all things? And yeah, G. Willow Wilson makes it worth it, along with the artwork by Marcio Takara. It's a great book, and it's well worth checking out for anybody who hasn't yet. On page 13. This one's for you, baby. Mm-hmm. Wonder Woman number 1, Tom King and Daniel Sampier.
Mm-hmm. CTS Best of 2022 Awards nominee Daniel Sampier.
Yes, indeed. Yep. And this spans out of a couple of stories that have led up to this, and now the ongoing begins for Tom King.
As I read the copy, what I love, because Tom is so astute and so plugged into the world around us. So after a mysterious Amazonian is accused of mass murder, Congress passes the Amazon Safety Act, barring all Amazons from U.S. soil. To carry out their plans, the government starts a task force, the Amazon Extradition Entity, codenamed AXE, those who don't comply by any means necessary. Now in a search for the truth behind the killing, Wonder Woman finds herself an outlaw in the world she once swore to protect.
And
Yep, that's a new take, all right. Wonder Woman Outlaw.
Yep, I'm looking forward to this.
I mean, this is essentially, like, get out of here, you muties. Only this time it's with
Amazons go home.
Yep, exactly.
America has a long, rich history of intolerance and xenophobia at different times. So I'm looking forward to Tom's take on that here.
And look at that artwork.
Oh,
stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Wow.
Plus,
look at that fight scene. Woo.
Yeah. How is this going to affect Donna Troy? How's this going to affect Wonder Girl?
Good point. Yep.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of different Amazons that are going to be affected by this change in the DC universe, and look further into that as we go.
Here you go, Levy Poo.
Yes, indeed. Cy Spurrier and Mike Deodato Jr. We hinted at this last previews and last discussion that we had, that it was going to be coming, and now here we are on page 16 as a new era begins for Wally West. Yes, that's right. He continues to be our Flash, and I'm happy for it. And I think Cy Spurrier, of all people, could definitely be somebody to continue on the good times for fans of Wally in the DC universe, as he's never been quicker, more fulfilled, more heroic. His loving family is around him, and yet something is very off. His evolving understanding of his powers has opened Wally to new adventures of sci-fi adventure and attuned his senses to strange new ideas. Something whispers from the dark vibrations beyond the Speed Force. As Wally experiments with creative new approaches to his powers, he encounters new realms, mysterious allies, and mind-shattering terrors. It's like we're going to get a little bit more sci-fi with our Flash going here with Cy Spurrier involved.
Yep, there aren't a lot of writers who do strange new ideas better than Cy Spurrier.
Yep.
And check out those black and white preview images of Deodato's artwork there. He's
Oh my
really
God.
grown in his craft over the last couple of decades.
Wow.
And check it out. There's Impulse and Max Mercury.
Yes. Yes.
Look at the page with where he uses the panels to create dramatic effect in the stairwell and the house.
Mhm.
That is stunning artwork. Oh,
Really, really is. Yeah, I am so looking forward to this, both for the writer and the art. Yeah, here's to a new era for the Flash. We know how much we love the previous era, but times change, and let's see what comes next. Absolutely.
I suspect it's not going to be quite as acceptable as accessible. I mean, as Jeremy Adams's run, but it's going to be weirdly creative. It's
Absolutely
worth giving it a try.
Yep. And a new is this a one shot or an ongoing? Let's see. That's a good question.
It is an ongoing. The final sentence makes it clear.
There we go. All right. You are correct, sir. Yeah. Ongoing series for Power Girl. Leah Williams and Eduardo Pansica and Julio Ferreira bring us Power Girl #1 on page 18. After the events of Night Terrors, a long dormant Kryptonian threat has returned to take down Superman and his family. Who could possibly stop it? Well, according to the Man of Steel, it's Power Girl. And let's see what she can do.
Yeah. I don't know when they started calling her Paige, but I can't say I approve. Her name, her alter ego has been Karen Starr for years, and I know that there are connotations attached to the name Karen these days that are perhaps undesirable, but still, I can't think of her as anything other than Karen.
Plus, the calling her Karen Starr also harkens back to the Golden Age with the Daily Star, so that's that at least adds even further of a lineage to it all. But yeah, I'm not nearly. I'm not nearly as versed in modern day Power Girl outside of the backups that have been in Superman of late. But I'd at least be willing to give it a shot to see what it's like. Let's see if she gets a new design as well, or whether or not this is going to be her regular costume here.
I like the costume pretty well.
Same here. It's classic. Page 18. And for the Shanes out there.
Yep, I'll say.
Page 19, Fire and Ice. Welcome to Smallville, #1. Written by Joanne Starrer with art by Natasha Bustos. Yeah, it's a Fire and Ice 6-issue miniseries here. As they head to Smallville, and I love that variant cover there with shades of the old school Justice League International. And of course, my favorite part of this solicitation: Superman sent the former Justice Leaguers packing for Smallville following an extremely public and utterly disastrous mission. That was all Guy Gardner's fault.
Of course it was.
Of course. Page 19 for that. Yeah, this looks like it should be fun. And then, for no particular reason,
definitely not related to an upcoming film release. No chance.
Of course not. But it's the same team behind Blue Beetle Graduation Day, which has gotten major praise. Josh Trujillo and Adrian Gutierrez bring us a new ongoing series for Blue Beetle on page 20. As graduation is over, but his new life in Palmyra City. And as the Blue Beetle has only just begun. So he gets his own city now. How about that?
Only just begun.
Palmyra City. That's new to the DC lexicon, correct?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Palmyra State University.
Yeah. Traditionally, he's operated out of El Paso.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, they can certainly make some really fun, brand new designs and stretch their artistic integrity and abilities by creating, whatever cityscape and landscape they want now, because that's the fun you get to have in the DC universe. It's like, oh, hey, I want a character to live here now. I'm going to create it, make the magic happen. Page 20 for that. Ooh, yes. New villain alert! New villain alert! New villain alert! But it's John Stewart. It's Green Lantern War Journal. It's Philip Kennedy Johnson. Artwork by Montos. Great cover.
Sure is.
Man. Whew. And if that's his new, Green Lantern costume, I kind of dig it. It's, it kind of, it harkens back to, it's a nice, simple, sleek design with just a small little GL logo on the side there.
It's almost like a Starfleet uniform.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yep. I was just watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds before we got on here, trying to catch myself up.
What a show.
Oh yeah. I'm 12 minutes into the Lower Decks crossover, and it's officially like one of the greatest episodes of all time. It's just so freaking good. Yeah, but page 21, any of you John Stewart fans, check out Green Lantern War Journal number 1. Shazam number 3 looks like it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun.
Do I see apes?
Yes, you do.
All right.
Yep, they're expatriates from Gorilla City.
Gorilla City.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and may I just mention here how happy I am that Mark Waid is not allowing the main character to be referred to as Shazam. No, instead he's discreetly known as the Captain.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. I dig it.
That's a compromise I can accept.
I also appreciate the word Grexit in the page 22 for all that fun. Love the first issue, and I got to read issue 2. And then on the next page, Titans issue 3. All hail the Church of Blood. Tom Taylor.
Series has been great right out of the gate so far.
You better believe it. Yep. And the DC Universe debut of Teen Titans animated series villain Atlas. Okay, that's pretty cool. Bringing him over in Cyborg issue 3 on page 23 there. Any of you fans of the character from the Teen Titans animated series? Well, now comic book form exists. New Superman villain. What, they didn't give it a villain alert to Superman number 6? Yeah. Villain alert, villain alert, villain alert. The Chained Part 1, a new story arc begins for Joshua Williamson and Gleb Melnikov. Another great cover.
And as we mentioned, this series so far, I've read, I think 1 through 3 or 4 has been sensational. Just great Superman stuff.
This is a guest artist filling in here, and the cover is still by Jamal Campbell. But yeah, following the shocking cliffhanger of Superman issue 5 and the events of Night Terrors, Superman has learned that Lex Luthor kept a prisoner beneath Stryker's Island for decades. Who are they, and why did Lex lock them up? Can Superman unlock the secrets of the Chained? We will certainly find that out on page 24. Then a new story arc for Action Comics as well, which has also been great. Nice new era for the Superman universe here. Action Comics being helmed by Philip Kennedy Johnson with a backup by Dan Jurgens and Mags Visaggio this time around. We got a new villain involved there too, from the looks of it.
Green Lantern number 4, we've got a nod to decades-old continuity here. The resurrection of Oliver Queen in the early part of the Kevin Smith run. Turns out Parallax did it, and there are repercussions to that now here in 2023.
Yeah. It's great that we live in a world where, all of DC's history actually happened, so we can Yeah, Green Arrow number 4 looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And I was a huge fan of that Kevin Smith arc and the Brad Meltzer run that followed it.
Yeah, that was good.
Very, very good stuff. And the artwork by Sean Isaacs will help this one, to say the least. Page 25. Oh wow, we got a Batman Hawkgirl team up. on page 25 as well. Kendra battles the Court of Owls and Talons in Gotham City. Issue 6 of 6. We conclude the Connor Kent miniseries that's been going on. Superboy, the Man of Tomorrow. It all comes down to this. Connor fights tooth and nail to protect the victims of Dominator X. I'm sorry, Dominator X. But when the dust settles, what will it mean for Superboy's future as a hero? I sure as hell hope that it means that he's going to stick around, because I don't want him going anywhere, but we shall see. Page 26. Page 27, just in time for Halloween, because this is coming out in September. DC's Ghouls Just Wanna Have Fun.
You've been waiting all night to do that, haven't you?
Yes, I have. As usual, it's a nice anthology issue through the Ghouliverse of DC. Skin-crawling stories of DC's Ghouliverse. Superman imprisoned by an unfriendly ghost. Man-Bat versus a werewolf. Mary Marvel and Dr. Psycho crashing a Halloween frat party.
That is intriguing.
Yes, very much so. Oh man, yeah. This is going to be great. This is going to be great.
Yep, written and drawn by a whole bunch of talent, old and new.
Yep.
One story written by John Arcudi and one drawn by Sean McManus. That's a name I've not heard for a while.
Boy,
he was the artist supreme of the Omega Men back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. All there on page 27. And this has been highly anticipated. Raphael Grandpa brings us Batman Gargoyle of Gotham on page 28. When you chase your own shadow, it leads you into the abyss. The acclaimed and artistic mind of Raphael Grandpa bringing this to us here. I'm in, baby. This is going to be great. On page 28.
Well, it looks like the story is that Batman decides to give up his Bruce Wayne persona for good.
Yep. And go all Batman.
You know that's gonna work out well.
Oh sure. Yeah.
Look at that artwork. That is stunning. Oh.
Yes, indeed.
Very few draftsmen in comics get it done like Raphael Grandpa does, and man, this is going to be in stores on September 16th, and it's going to be fantastic. The Riddler Year 1 finally available in full on page 31, all 6 issues of that. Written by Riddler actor Paul Dano, with art by Stevan Subic. Once again on page 31.
Yeah, and they're making a sequel to that film, aren't they?
Yes, they
the
are.
Batman movie, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a Penguin miniseries that's going to be on Max at some point.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Yep.
If and when the writers and actors strike,
right.
Yeah, that's so maybe by 2026 we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. Yeah. I never read Batman 3 Jokers. I'll just go out there.
I haven't either.
Yeah. I still kind of wonder if I should, because I feel like this was in a very aborted idea that was never really followed upon in DC. And I don't know if it ever will be, frankly. It's an interesting concept, and then Jeff Johns talked about it, and then nobody else did. There's 3 Jokers. Okay. What else? Well, there's 3 of them. Okay. All right. Page 32, if you want to check it out, all 3 issues of that. It is also available on the DC Infinite app if you want to save a few bucks and just read it there. So, something else to point out. Let's look at Static Shadows of Dakota. That collects the first 7 issues of that, as well as the Static Team Up, Anansi #1. On that same page, Icon versus Hardware. So dipping into the Milestone universe on page 33. And I'm happy about this one.
Yep, 2 more volumes of DC manga on page 34. Volume 2 of Joker, One Operation Joker, which is about a Joker raising a de-aged infant Batman as his own son. And Superman vs. Meshi, which is about Superman eating his way across Japan. Guest starring Batman, Volume 2.
That's the one I'm interested in, okay? That's
Me
the
too.
one I'm going to wind up buying. That's just too much fun.
Pre-ordered already.
Yes. Volume 2 of Vixen NYC, available on page 35 by Jasmine Walls. And then we get a whole bunch of volumes for recent stories that have wrapped, including Superman Volume 1, if you want to catch yourself up on that. Adventures of Superman John Kent, and Superman the War World Saga, all available on page 36. And then the widely praised Stargirl The Lost Children by Jeff Johns and Todd Knock, available in full on page 37.
Oh, facsimiles. Love them.
There you go. And that the facsimile that matters to me the most, that I may very well wind up picking up, and I don't pick up comics anymore, is the facsimile edition of Wonder Woman #1 by Greg Potter and the George Perez.
Beautiful.
So nice. So nice.
I'm on board for the Flash #105. It's the first appearance of the Mirror Master.
Ah, yes. Original Mirror Master. All right. Moving on a little bit further here. Batman Superman World's Finest #19, featuring Nicolas Cage.
It's that's a variant, though. It's just like a,
But I
doesn't reflect the events of the issue. It's just a little stunt variant.
But why doesn't it? Because that would be so much.
Don't know, Ian. I just don't know.
He could face Two-Face off. Well, either way, issue 19 of that with Travis Moore artwork backing up the Mark Waid story on page 39.
Well, the actual story sounds interesting, too. The Riddler penetrates the mysteries of the Phantom Zone.
Yes. Wow. And what secrets will the Dark Knight and the Man of Steel learn about one another that will define their friendship? We will find that out together. Tom King's Danger Street issue 9.
Another great cover.
Yep, on the next page.
Really interesting series. I stopped. I'm going to read it in trade.
That's all on page 40 there. And we are one issue away from Fables concluding once more. It was going to be 12 issues total, and this is Fables issue 161 in the penultimate issue of that. One more to go after this. Unless they decide to bring it back later, and I would also be fine with that because it's Fables and I like it being around.
Shane's going to love on page 42.
Oh, yeah.
Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries #12 with Batman Beyond.
Yeah, that's great stuff.
And that's the Royal Flush Gang. That's a twofer for Shane. Oh, my God. Shane.
Oh man, I am in a world where Batman Beyond is going to be teaming up with Scooby-Doo. This is it's joy. It really is. Page 42 for that one, and
Take comfort in that reality, my friend.
still $2.99.
Final issue of Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries for now, though.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, they'll probably bring it back in some form.
I'm sure they will. Yep. All right. And I think that's almost it. Just go through the trades real quick here. Absolute Dark Knight by Frank Miller. So if you offered again, this includes Batman Dark Knight Returns 1 through 4 and Batman Dark Knight Strikes Again 1 through 4, all in one absolute package. If you want to have it in a beautiful format on your shelf on page 44. Batman Gotham by Gaslight reissued as well on that same page 44. And Garth Ennis and Liam Sharp's Batman Reptilian.
I never read that.
Neither have I.
Yeah. I remember that when it came out, but for whatever reason, I didn't read it.
Yeah. This collects Batman Reptilian 1 through 6 for you all. Once again on that same page 44.
Look at this page. All right, the Ex Machina Omnibus. I have to order that.
Yes,
that's one of my all-time favorite finite series.
Absolutely.
Collecting all 50 issues plus 4 specials. That's 1,440 pages.
Mm-hmm.
Shane's thinking, oh, God.
Oh, my lap.
However, I can take it.
You man's man, Chris.
To the left of that, DC New Frontier, the deluxe edition, the 2023 edition. For any of you who
one of our favorite book of the month discussions.
Yes. And for anybody who does not already own it in a deluxe format, you really, really should.
Beautiful.
So beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And then on that next page, one of my favorite JLA JSA stories, Virtue and Vice.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yep. Offered in a new edition, along with Fables, the Deluxe Edition, Book 16, and the Super Sons Omnibus Super Duper Edition. And Commandy, for that matter. All there for you.
By Kirby, yep. Look at that lobster beast, whatever that is, that crab beast, vintage Kirby in the 70s. Now, anybody who's a Superman fan who's not read Superman for All Seasons by Loeb and the late, great Tim Sale, do yourself a favor. And to quote 70s Bronze Age era DC Kirby covers, don't think, just buy it.
Yep. And on that,
Detective Chimp, Murd, Detective Chimp.
Yep, it's the Detective Chimp casebook. I'm assuming that's not going to be the final cover because that's just kind of recycling like something that they used for the Helmet of Fate Detective Chimp one-shot a bunch of years ago. But this collects a whole bunch of Silver Age appearances of Bobo the Detective Chimp from the back pages of Rex the Wonder Dog. And also a backup story, Whatever Happened to Detective Chimp, one of a series of such Whatever Happened to stories that ran in the back pages of DC Comics Presents in the 70s and 80s. So yeah, if this were a soft cover, I would be buying it right away.
and right next to it is the freshly Eisner-winning Human Target.
Yes.
1 through 5. Tom King, Greg Smallwood, except no substitutes.
You better believe it. And that is it for DC. And in a very strange turn of events, due to Diamond changing around their catalog, over to Marvel. Because it just makes sense to do so. And let's...
This cover made me happy.
Oh, yes. This one didn't, but this one...
What the hell was that?
I mean, we even had somebody in the super group being like, "Oh, it's just a bunch of fun." I'm like, "Yeah, it would be a bunch of fun if it was on the book that they were actually referencing, not a random Spider-Man." Like, come on.
I find something kind of oddly creepy about it, frankly.
Yeah,
those come hither eyes. I don't know.
Well, let's focus on this.
Let's go to what's important.
Accentuate the positive. Here we go.
J. Michael Straczynski, Jesus Saez, in a
Captain America. That's it.
Yep. I agree with you, Chris. I love that cover. Yeah. Showing a young Steve Rogers standing up to bullies on the streets of Brooklyn.
Yep. Look at the Gary Frank variant cover, by the way.
That's so good. Yep. And the Olivier Coipel, for that matter.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited to read this.
What future awaits the man out of time? Decades ago, Steve Rogers changed the world forever. Now, powerful and insidious forces are assembling to ensure he never does it again. Past, present, and future collide as the man out of time reckons with an existential threat determined to set the world on a darker path at any cost. I'm in on this. This.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's Straczynski. Come on.
Yeah, he's just a kid from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then Predator versus Wolverine.
I'm surprised this wasn't done decades ago, frankly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like a no-brainer.
But I guess now that the Alien franchise is with Marvel,
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Makes it even easier to do because for years there, they were writing books with DC.
Right, the great Batman versus Predator. The first story was excellent. It's always good to see Mike McCone artwork, by the way, on that variant cover.
I know. Every single time I see a variant cover by Mike McCone, I think to myself, it can't be interiors. Why can't it be interiors?
Yeah, it's a great artist. Great artist.
four issue Predator versus Wolverine here. Look at that Mike McCone homage cover underneath it there. Oh, the thrill is the kill. All right. Well, there we go. You want to check it out? It's all there for you on page 4. And then Al Ewing.
Al Ewing. That's enough. I'll at least try number 1.
Al Ewing and Leonard Kirk.
Yep.
Avengers Inc. number 1 on page 6 here. Action.
That Alex Ross cover is stunning. Just the characters they've assembled. That's a great. Look at that. Dr. Druid, Sheen Man, Star Fox, Moon Dragon. Great stuff.
Starhawk even.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Moon Dragon.
Yep, that is. But I'll tell you what, the main cover by Daniel Acuna, which I'm scarce to recognize as his style, by the way. I'm still back in 2006 when he was doing covers for Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters. He's gone full pulp here.
Yeah, it's a great cover.
Really has. Yeah.
Yeah, it's inspired by Greg Smallwood, perhaps. But yeah, it's Vision, it's the Wasp, it's kind of a hard-boiled detective alternate reality take on the Avengers.
Yeah. Just right in my wheelhouse. Hard boiled.
Her name is Janet Van Dyne. She's a hero. She's a celebrity. She's hunting a killer. His name is Victor Shade. He's a villain. He's an enigma. He just got killed. And together, they solve every mystery in the Marvel Universe, starting with their own.
Yeah. Cue the sax solo.
Yep. Perfectly placed, Murd.
All right. There's a variant cover of Daredevil number 1 by Saladin Ahmed by Frank Miller. That's always good to see.
That sure is.
Yep. And this variant cover by Alexander Lozano, for that matter, almost Quesada-esque, I'd say.
Yeah, yep. Especially those teeth that clenching teeth. Yep.
New era of Daredevil starts here. Industry stars Saladin Ahmed and Aaron Cooter have laced up and entered the ring, ready to take Matt Murdock on a knockout of an adventure. Where does Elektra fit into all of this? What is the future of Hell's Kitchen? Romance, intrigue, and of course, action. All delivered in the mighty Marvel manner.
I'm waiting for them to collect all of Zdarsky in one book.
Yeah.
Because I only read the first trade. I enjoyed it, but I just want to read the whole. I want to get an omnibus for that.
Ooh, wow.
Nice artwork. Very nice. Look at that montage panel at the top. Oh, that's beautiful.
And it's like it's so moody and has such depth to it. Oh yeah. This is great.
Doom
versus Carnage? Or no, wait, Spider Side? Wait, I'm confused.
Who knows?
Oh man. Eddie Brock needed access to Doctor Doom's time platform, and in getting to it, got more than he ever bargained for, battling the most notorious supervillain in the Marvel Universe through time itself. You know, that might actually be worth it. And it's Al Ewing, and it's issue 25, page 11. I'm just going to catch up on this whole damn series eventually, because you never know.
It's pretty timey-wimey, Ian. I think you'd be down for it.
Got it. Now this one, page 12, this cover actually gives me goosebumps. Like I'm not a
great cover.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of like an eye motif in general. So that's like,
oh, so it gives you the bad kind of goosebumps.
Yeah, exactly. It gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
Spider Slayers and a Smythe, a song that once heard will not allow you to sleep. One of the worst threats to Aunt May you've ever experienced. Collecting the Infinity comic series for the Marvel Unlimited app all in one, page turner on page 13. Saladin Ahmed and Juan Ferreira on the writing and artwork chores for that as well. Spine-tingling Spider-Man, page 13.
We'll talk about Immortal Thor when we get issue 1.
Uncanny Spider-Man, number 105.
A 5-issue miniseries about Nightcrawler cosplaying as Spider-Man for a little bit.
I'm down for
By
That's a fun idea.
Well, Cy Spurrier is writing it, and Lee Garbett is drawing it.
I'm pleased to see Nightcrawler has a sword, as he always should.
Sure. But, I'd much rather it be, a miniseries about Nightcrawler as Nightcrawler, rather than Nightcrawler dressing up as Spidey.
There were super duper devastating events at the Hellfire Gala that I learned about that this is going to bounce itself out of here. But yeah, it's some dark times for the X-Men right now.
Well, we anticipated that.
Oh yeah. I kind of really dig the design though. Kind of taking the motif of Miles's Spider-Man outfit and then making it very uniquely Nightcrawler. I like it. I like it a lot. Jerry Duggan and Javier Garron. We got Jungle Girl Rogue on the cover. What else can you ask for right there? Page 18.
Takes back to that classic X-Men story that Jim Lee drew, where she's in the Savage Land with Magneto.
Yep. All right. Going further down, we're mid-storyline and a bunch of stuff. But a reminder that, yes, you heard right. Louise Simonson is writing a Jean Grey miniseries. This is issue 2. Please pick up issue 1 and then read issue 2 because it's Louise Simonson and it's worth it. It's Bernard Tang artwork. Come on. Page 22 for that.
He gave an order, folks. He gave an order.
Yes, indeed.
So I'm out of it. I didn't know Tony Stark and Emma Frost were. I guess it kind of makes sense. We're involved now. They're getting married.
Yeah, they were involved in the past. So it it's not like it's out of nowhere.
So what happened to Hellcat?
I guess that ended. I don't know. Or this could be a marriage of convenience, Chris, which is
true. Two houses of power coming together as they used to do in the old days. Probably corporate families still do, frankly.
Exactly.
No, because the Cantwell, Tony Stark, Patsy Walker relationship was so well defined and so beautifully written.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, I well, you know what? We may actually learn more of that. Have you been reading the Hellcat miniseries? Because it's possible that may also.
That's true. Yeah, I haven't read that yet.
On there. Yeah. We're not losing an X-Man. We're gaining an Avenger. Can I just pause for a moment and just comment on the career that Emma has had? And the transformation that she's gone through over the years, that she was just just a member of the Hellfire Club, a typical evil woman, essentially, and transformed into something way more over the years, head of Generation X.
Yep.
Also had a very major part in Morrison's new X-Men run.
Wasn't she the headmaster of the Hellions even before that too? That whole thing.
Yeah. At her own the institution, the Massachusetts Academy.
Right.
But then the Hellions all died, and that was kind of the catalyst that made her start thinking about treading the path of the angels a little more.
Yep. But stunning gown there as well.
Yeah.
And I love what Tony.
That's Tony, all right.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, Invincible Iron Man number 10 on page 25, and also X-Men number 26 on the previous page 24 tells this story in full. Well, that's disturbing. Immortal X-Men number 15, Kieran Gillen. That's not Wolverine. I mean, and if it is, he got problems right now. Ah, yes, Classified, issue 2 of 4.
Move on.
Yeah.
Just move on.
It's no longer classified, by the way. We know who it is, but
just move on.
These have not been updated yet to reflect that. I'll talk more about what was classified when it does actually come out.
Here you go, Murd. Mars and Limb.
Oh, yeah, they're doing it again on page 32. It was Warlock's turn last, but now we're back to Silver Surfer, Silver Surfer Rebirth, Legacy. So we're bringing young Janice Vell into the mix here.
Yes.
Telling an untold tale of the time when Janice Vell was still wearing the ponytail and the leather jacket and calling himself Legacy.
Yep.
More 90s throwbacksmanship, and it looks like the Infinity Watch will be involved as well.
I'm down for it.
Same here.
Yep. Page 32 for that one. And issue 404 on page 34, the end or the beginning? As war breaks out, as timelines and universes collide, Iron Man must choose between the lesser of two evils, the Maker or Kang.
Dang.
This miniseries is going to be a hell of a ride.
Yep.
I read issue 1 and really enjoyed it. So yeah, I can't wait to see where this is going.
Oh, this is no doubt inspired by the recent wonderful Black and Whites episode they did. What was that, last year?
Yep.
Yep. Last Halloween.
So it's Jack Russell with Elsa Bloodstone.
Yep. Werewolf by Night, page 35.
That one shot television episode was superb. That was so good. God.
It was good fun. I hope they experiment with the one shot special a little more in the future.
I agree, Murd. But my hands are raised in joy.
Page 36.
Yes.
Well, this is just well worth the timing, isn't it, gents? You know?
Yep.
And Micronauts #1 facsimile edition coming out, written by Bill Mantlo, penciled by Michael Golden.
Covered by Dave Cockrum.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought that Micronauts would finally be getting the collection that it so deserves?
Yep.
Great.
And
ROM, baby.
Yep. Facsimile edition, Mantlo, Buscema, Frank Miller cover. 1979.
37 for that. Yep.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned for Micronauts discussion in the not too distant future.
Yes, indeed. Can't wait for it. Captain Marvel versus Cyclops in the X-Men annual. That battle of the captains, if you want to put it that way, since Cyclops is in many ways the captain of the X-Men. On page 40. Contest of Chaos finale on page 41 for the Avengers annual as well. Ooh, great cover there for Amazing Spider-Man issue 33. Wow.
That is a great cover.
That harkens back. Spider-Man's first hunt. The hunter is now the prey. Can Kraven survive? Zeb Wells, Patrick Gleason. That is going to be a fun story. And woo boy, that cover for Amazing Spider-Man 34. As Spider-Man's hunt continues. Who is Peter's next villain?
Next victim, it says.
You're right. Correct. Penultimate chapter of a story you'll never forget. Hopefully, it will actually be that.
Yeah, they tend to use hyperbole quite a bit, don't they, though?
It has been a Marvel tradition.
Yeah.
Yes, it has. Hightail. Miles Morales and his family have moved to a new, not-so-friendly neighborhood for the likes of Spider-Man, that is. New York City's hero-squashing Cape Killer's latest member won't let Miles catch his breath. It's only a matter of time before a hyper-speedster Hightail gets ahead of the wall crawler. But Hightail's attack is just the tip of the iceberg because her power is about to unleash something much more sinister on the streets of New York. Page 46. Nice design there by Federico Vicentini for Hightail as a character. Issue 2 of that Magneto miniseries.
Martheus and Knock. Wow.
Enter the Queen of Wrath. Wow. Ire. Page 49. Here's the book of the month right here. Page 50. Alligator Loki #1. And Alyssa Wong and Bob Quinn make a splash in Alligator Loki's print comic debut.
Gesundheit, sir.
Worth it.
Thank you.
Gesundheit, sir. Page 53. Yes. 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 And yes.
Terrific.
It was bound to happen eventually after his stellar debut in the Loki series.
Yep.
And Marvel Unleashed gives us Frog Thor while we're at it. Issue
Larry Hama and John McCrae.
Yeah.
Wow.
Page 55. Cletus Cassidy, the madman who bonded to Carnage, wasn't the only family member to have a connection with symbiotes. Cortland Cassidy, his long-dead ancestor, rests beneath the Ravencroft Institute for the Criminally Insane. What would happen if the symbiote reanimated the corpse of Cortland Cassidy? Is the world big enough for 2 Cassidy Carnages? A nice what-if tale here spun by Larry Hama on page 55.
And John McCrae is the great artist from Hitman, what he did with Garth Ennis, a superb artist.
Very true. Very true.
The co-creator of such characters as Dog Welder.
All right. Bring it down a little bit more here.
Ian, go back to Scarlet Witch for a moment, please. I really want to get the first trade of this because you guys really praise this book extensively.
It's great.
Really so is. It's a beautiful cover too.
Yep, Loki and Scarlet Witch look like they're macking on each other there.
Oh, it's Russell Dauterman. No wonder. Okay.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And the internals are by Lorenzo Temeta and Sarah Pacelli. So
there you go.
Gorgeous book all around. Oof, that cover there for Fantastic number 11. Catch the dog. Catch the dog.
Don't put it in a microwave. Anyway, sorry.
Page 65. Ryan Norton in Ibn Coelho continuing their Fantastic Four run. Onward we go to Star Wars.
Big crossover. Droids. Dark droids.
Droids. More droids. So many droids. All the droids. On page 74 in particular, Mark Guggenheim with Salva Espin and David Messina bring us the 4-issue Star Wars Dark Droids D-Squad, issue 104.
Look at that Tom Riley variant. Beautiful.
Really nice. The unsung heroes of the Clone Wars return with D-Squad. So good. You asked for droids, we're giving you droids.
They sure are.
Bringing it down into the trade.
Okay. Yes,
indeed. Yep. Page 84. ROM, the original Marvel Years Omnibus, Volume 1, hardcover.
Now, I'm sure the Micronauts Omnibus will appear in a future previews, but this series, so if some people know, ROM, I think it was Parker Brothers, if I remember correctly, came out with this very large, essentially doll with different weapons and accessories. It was ROM. And that was it. They didn't really do anything else beyond that. And enter Bill Mantlo, just like he did with Micronauts, then world built this whole backstory for ROM and where he came from and what his purpose was. Really good. Space operatic adventure, and also integrated into the Marvel universe as well. These are excellent stories. Really good stuff. So,
yeah, and long out of print. So
yes,
it's nice to see that there was a meeting of the minds that was able to put this back in where exactly where it belongs, and that is in print. So
that's a good point, because Marvel did continue to use Space Knights in different stories, but not ROM.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
Because Mantlo created everything else except just for ROM.
Mm-hmm. So. Yep. Well, that is on sale in January 2024. Do check that out. We got a new Ohio Master Omnibus.
Yeah, this is a collection of those loose leaf binder pages that they released in the 90s.
Nice.
And and they've rearranged them to be in alphabetical order, which is not really the case with the original editions. It was just like a random list of characters alphabetized for that volume, and each volume was alphabetical within that volume, but you'd have to kind of buy every issue to get all the different characters. But here they've rearranged them so that it's like they plucked the little loose leaf pages out of each edition and put them all together again into this hardcover edition in proper alphabetical order. So this is A through L here in Volume 1. From Abomination to Elijah the Laser Fist.
Elijah.
All available on page 86 for that. And yes, Elijah, she's got a lot of story, including the 90s of the Fantastic Four.
Yes, a lot of the 90s of Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And if you haven't found those, some handbook aficionados poo-poo them. Personally, I found them enjoyable. And they're kind of hard to find in back issue bins because most people who bought them pulled them apart. So they're just not on the market anymore. So here's your chance to get them in a collected, re-alphabetized edition.
I love this on page 87. Marvel February 1964 Omnibus. Just go through the year because that's exactly what they did right here. Cool concept.
It's a great concept. I mean, it's expensive, but it's a great concept.
Absolutely. Yeah, it collects the first issue of Daredevil, Amazing Spider-Man issue 12, Fantastic Four issue 26, Journey into Mystery 103, Kid Cult Outlaws 116,
Millie the Model.
Oh, yes. 120.
And Modeling with Millie.
Yep. Issue 13.
And Patsy Walker.
Pre-Hellcat Patsy Walker, issue 114. Strange Tales 120, Tales of Suspense 53, Tales to Astonish 55, Two Gun Kid 69, Avengers issue 5, Patsy and Haiti 94, Rawhide Kid 40, Sergeant Fury 7, and X-Men number 5. Awesome. Really, really fun way of doing that. All there on page 87. And then the Ben Reilly Omnibus is on page 88. Chronicling the conclusion of that particular Ben Reilly arc with the Revelations arc and the death at the time of Ben Reilly.
Right.
But he got better.
He got better.
Yes, he did.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
So I had this omnibus was destroyed in the flood in my basement two falls back. I'm ordering this immediately.
Absolutely.
This is Thor by Straczynski and Coy Pell and Kieran Gillen. These are some of my favorite Thor stories of all time.
They're
hands
really
down.
Yeah, they're
hands down.
It kind of like started the rebound of Thor.
Yep.
After a couple of years of him, not really being in the upper echelon of in the same way. Not to sneeze on what came before, because the Dan Jurgens run on Thor in particular before that was super.
Oh, it was excellent. Excellent.
But then there was nothing for a little while, and there was a lot more. I don't think the power is going to go out, gents, but just letting you know that I just heard thunder very, very loud in my neighborhood, so I will keep you posted. Excellent timing since we're talking about Thor, now that I think about it. But yeah, this collects FF 536 to 537, Thor 1 through 12, and 600 to 614. Thor Annual number 1, Thor Giant Size Finale Siege. That's a mouthful. Sorry, it was Thor Giant Size Finale, Siege. It's hard to read that. Siege 1 to 4 and Director's Cut, and then Siege Loki, New Mutants, Secret Invasion Aftermath, Beta Ray Bill. That's a great issue, by the way. I remember that one. That was really good. The Green of Eden, Beta Ray Bill, God Hunter 1 through 3, another excellent miniseries, and Dark Reign, the Cabal one shot.
Yeah, this is an omnibus. If you're a Thor fan, this is an omnibus that's well worth your shelf.
Definitely. And
this is a great collection too. Early Iron Fist. So Chris Claremont was all over early Iron Fist stories in the Bronze Age. These are excellent. I highly recommend them. What does this have here? We've got Marvel Premiere 15 to 25, Iron Fist 1 through 15, which is all Claremont. Marvel Team Up 63-64, which are excellent issues, which featuring Iron Fist, Spider-Man, The Daughters of the Dragon, The Deadly Hands of the Kung Fu magazine. I mean, it's pricey, but it's great stuff. Great Bronze Age Marvel stuff.
Yep.
And the next entry,
yes, 91.
Let me tell you, I just got the gallery edition of Spider-Man Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Which is stunning. I mean, I've read it before, but it's so beautiful in that format. I cannot wait to get Born Again in the gallery edition format.
Nice.
Absolutely.
All right. And I think that's about it for the trades, unless they have epics on the bottom that may be worth discussing. So let me just check that real quick. Well, you know what? Actually, X-Men Red Volume 3, if you're continuing to read that, that's available for you on page 108. That collects X-Men Red 11 through 13 and X-Men Before the Fall, Heralds of Apocalypse for you. And then...
She-Hulk Volume 3, baby. I'll be getting that.
And they'll be, I believe they're going to be relaunching She-Hulk, also still by Rainbow Rowell, bringing back the sensational to She-Hulk.
Did the current volume end? Because I'm only reading it in trade.
I believe that is the case.
Okay.
If it hasn't ended, it's about to end, and then they're going to relaunch it as Sensational She-Hulk, still with Rainbow Rowell in the future. Oh. Page 111, actually, Echo, the saga of Maya Lopez. That is well worth your time. David Mack and Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti bring some great storytelling there with Echo. Really fleshing out the character and making it a character to actually care about, and her introduction, for that matter. Because this is Daredevil 9 through 15, and then issues 51 to 55. Of that 1998 Daredevil run available for you, 111. All right, and I don't see any epics worth it, so I think that's about it. And we can head back to the rest of the starting out with Aftershock here. Page 186, Bulls of Beacon Hill in trade paperback, Steve Orlando and Andy McDonald. This collects all 5 issues of that. It's Steve Orlando, so that's kind of what's the most recognizable about it. But Dr. Christopher Bolt has everything he ever wanted: a successful career as a surgeon, a supportive and loving boyfriend, and an overload of hype on his rumored run for Boston City Council. There's one problem: it's all held up by a lie. For years, Chris has been hiding in plain sight, desperate not to be connected to his father, Orrin Page, one of Boston's most notorious gangsters. We mentioned this in passing a couple different times, and now it's available here in full trade collection. So check out Bolt, issues 1 through 5 on page 186 out of Aftershock. And the rest of Aftershock, all you'll find is trades, because Aftershock is still going through bankruptcy. Unfortunately. And on we go to page...
Check this out. This is interesting.
Yes. Yep. Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze.
In a galaxy where a tyrannical force has silenced music and enslaved all life, Hendrix must embark on a perilous quest to find a magical talisman powerful enough to unlock the incredible latent power of his trademark sound. Tom Mandrake.
Yeah.
Doing the art. That's amazing. What I find compelling about this is that if you listen to Jimi Hendrix's music, his lyrics, he always kind of dabbled into like wacky, like sci-fi concepts and, mermen and all this stuff. So this could be a lot of fun.
It really can. Yeah. And looking at the artwork and the Tom Mandrake direct market edition cover for it. Yeah. This is awesome. Love when they do stuff.
I love Hendrix's music. Oh.
Yep. Officially licensed by Authentic Hendrix LLC, for that matter. So fully above board and with the respect of the Hendrix family. Bloodborne, The Bleak Dominion, issue 1 by Cullen Bunn, based on the critically acclaimed gothic gaming hit Bloodborne. So you're a fan of that. If you're a fan of that particular video game, this might be worth checking out on page 206 with Piotr Kowalski on the artwork chores, 4-issue mini by Cullen Bunn here. Check out. Great artwork.
Yep.
Happy to see this. Disenchantment, Untold Tales, Volume 1. This is a Netflix animated series by the one and only Matt Groening, who just had Futurama return on Hulu. So happy to see that back after a 10-year hiatus. It just keeps coming back. We're back, baby. But this is his Netflix fare, which started off a little bit slow, and over the last couple of volumes has really become a story that I'm completely invested in. And now here are some untold tales of disenchantment in comic book form available for you all on page 209. Very much in the style of the show, and well worth checking out if you're a fan of Elfo and Lucy and their adventures, and along with Bean. Page 209.
I'm on page 219 when you get there, honey.
I am getting there right now, sir. There we go, 219.
So we've got a Wrath of Khan, the making of the classic film.
Awesome.
192 pages, hardcover. See our really fun retro review of Wrath of Khan. I think about, it was in 2022 to celebrate the anniversary of the movie. Fabulous.
Yep, well worth checking out. In-depth look in the making of Wrath of Khan, featuring rare and previously unseen production art and new and exclusive interviews. Ryan Benjamin's Almost Dead Out of a Blaze on page 222. The cover strikes me, so I will definitely check this out here. The writer's name is Galaxy. The artist is Ryan Benjamin, so it's by Galaxy. There we are. Spoiler magazine founder Galaxy and Eisner-nominated artist Ryan Benjamin redefined the genre with a cinematic approach and attention to detail, all about a man who, after having an accident on her way home to visit her family, Sarah Walker awakens to find that the world has changed. Now she must travel up the eastern seaboard using suppressed survival skills she learned as a child in hopes of reuniting with her loved ones in the midst of a viral pandemic that has turned humans into monsters. Set in modern day 2005, hilarious. Sarah unites old acquaintances and new friends along the way, and her struggle to survive will be both an unexpectedly exciting journey and an absolute horror. Almost Dead. Kind of has a Walking Dead-esque feel to it, and it's not just the name on page 222. So yeah, if you're in the mood for survival horror, then this might be for you. Artwork is very, very pretty on page 220.
Yes, it is.
Traveling to Mars, Eisner nominee. So we'll bring that up. Mark Russell and Roberto Melli in a blaze here. One of my favorite comics. I can't recommend it enough by Comic Beat. So I may have to check this one out in trade.
Oh, Mark Russell's a fine writer.
Absolutely. Page 228 there for issue 10 of the series. And then Children of the Black Sun Volume 1 by Dario Ciccio. So if you want to check out the first full volume of that series, that's there for you on 229. And Edgar Allan Poe wrote a comic. Wait, no, he didn't.
Oh, God. I love you. Oh, boy.
Page 230. It's an adaptation of The Fall of the House of Usher by Garcia. With the original words of Edgar Allan Poe involved there with Raul Garcia's artwork. Great artwork. Almost reminiscent of Coraline, the movie.
That's right. Yeah, good point.
Well, it says here this is an adaptation of an animated short that Garcia made, adapting The Fall of the House of the Other. So that's why the animated looking art style is.
Well, there you go, sir. Nicely done. Nicely done. Page 230 for that. And Dio's Ancient Enemies out of Frank Miller's house on page 235. This cover A right here brings me back to my youth because I immediately think of that Wolverine versus Sabretooth cover that they printed that was that format. When it was supposed to be like the Battle of the Ages and like Wolverine issue 25 or something like that. Yep. Reminds me of that very, very much, and I'm sure that's exactly what they're going for right there. Page 235.
When you get there, I'm excited about page 267.
Excellent. I am going to have to talk about on page 241 before then, Space Truckin'. Because it's called Space Truckin'. Tim Hendrick Silvano Beltramo. Try to say that 3 times fast. Gori Ibarra is a smuggler, fugitive, and wanted in multiple timelines. All right, you got me. Buckle up for interstellar thrills as the infamous bootlegger moves adrenochrome through Jupiter with bounty hunters chasing him. On page 241. Oh, that sounds insane. I love it. And then Sean Gordon Murphy's Plot Holes. I forget if we mentioned issue 1 of that, but
No, we sure did.
We did. Okay, good. Then this is issue 2 of that, available on page 242. So just want to make sure that
That's a beautiful cover. Whew.
Oh yeah, gorgeous. All right. Where were you, sir?
267.
267.
Couple of things from Dark Horse we're going to want to mention before we get to that, though.
But of course.
My apologies. I keep forgetting Dark Horse has been exiled to the back of the book.
Yes, I know. It is kind of a crying shame.
Yeah.
But yes, here on page 256 and 257. On 256, we've got another mini-series from the mind of Patton Oswalt.
Oh, yes.
With art by Christopher Mitten from the World of Minor Threats, which was a miniseries last year about a group of B-level supervillains who set out to take down their universe's version of the Joker, before he can ruin things for the rest of the villain community. This one is called The Alternates, and it's about a bunch of B-level strange superheroes. Mary the Multi-Monster, The Tripper, Crab Louie, Kid Cubius, Persona. They were all trapped in a mirror reality, and it sounds like he might be inspired a little bit by Black Hammer with all of this. But in any event, it sounds good, and I liked the Minor Threats well enough. I'm going to be trying this from Patton Oswalt. And at the bottom of page 257, there's a new Masters of the Universe. It's a He-Man Year 1 prequel to the hit Netflix series Masters of the Universe Revelation. It's called Masters of the Universe Forge of Destiny, and it's written by Tim Seeley once again, with art by Eddie Nunez.
Yeah, that new Masters of the Universe had a whole bunch of announcements at San Diego Comic-Con as well, with voice casts and stuff like that. It looks like it's going to be a really professional group of people behind it, and Netflix is very much bringing the talent. So can't wait to check that one out. I feel like there was something else here that I wanted to check out. Here we are. Yes, Matt Kint's subgenre on page 258 with artwork by Wilfredo Torres. A man is living 2 lives. He's a private detective in a dystopian cyberpunk future trying to solve a triple murder. When he falls asleep, he wakes up as a wandering adventurer in a barbaric fantasy world where magic exists. Is he 2 separate people? Or is he a third person that has undergone a psychotic split? He jumps back and forth from sword-wielding barbarian to jaded private eye, trying to solve the brutal crime. The bigger question is, can he merge these realities without losing himself? That is an awesome idea, and I am all for it right there. Subgenre issue 1, page 258. I am keeping that one in mind for sure. And then on the next page, Jay Baruchel wrote himself a comic book of Freaks and Geeks and a whole bunch of Undeclared and How to Train Your Dragon. He's the voice of the lead of that. This is
Man Seeking Woman?
Yes. Yep. Plenty of other stuff as well, for that matter. He's been an actor for many, many years, and now he's dipping himself into the comic book world. I think he may have written something else before. I think
he did.
Yeah, but this is Tear Us Apart. Deep in the Canadian wilderness, a vicious cult dedicated to an ideology of pain trains children to become deadly assassins. In the midst of the world of cruelty, 2 teenagers break the cardinal rule by falling in love. The only thing standing between them and happily ever after is an army of murderers with a taste for blood. Check it out on page 259. All right, and I think that's all for me in Dark Horse. Oh, you know what? Screw it. Got to mention it. 261. Still one of my favorite animes. Still one of my favorite manga that I've ever read. Brings me back to my college days, Hellsing. This is a deluxe edition of Hellsing. And if you've never checked it out, check it out. It's terrific. Kota Harano's Hellsing is one of my favorite manga of all time, and this is a deluxe edition of that. So check it out on page 261. All right. And let's see if anything falls before then. Hey, My Little Pony. How about them apples? More. Go ahead.
Page 267. For fans of Star Trek, I picked up from my LCS the latest issues of Defiant and the flagship title because they're doing this magnificent crossover called like Day of Blood, or I forgot something Blood. I'm brain farting. I apologize. It's a great story. It involves Kalis and Worf and Cisco and a whole host of different characters from all the different series. And let me tell you something. It is outstanding Star Trek. I'm going to be picking up all these titles now in my monthly orders. And I'm so impressed with Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing on the flagship title that I'm going to get the Star Trek Year 5 a deluxe edition there. We always admired the covers of this series every month.
Yep.
And now that I know how good these writers are, I'm going to go right for the hardcover of issues 1 through 14. But if you're a Star Trek fan, these are great Star Trek comics.
And you know what? On that same page, Chris, talking about Star Trek, there's a Lower Decks comic coming out. Star Trek Day of Blood, Shax's Best Day, issue 1 by Ryan North, with artwork by Derek Charm. And it's I'm a huge Lower Decks fan. I'm very much in the mood for it to come back, and I can't wait that it's coming back in September. And this one shot may very well also be right up my alley on page 267 as we work with their security officer, Shax, who in very amusing fashion and in typical Star Trek fashion, at one point he died and then he got better. And the Lower Decks crew, because of the Lower Decks, were included in as to why it happened. So at one point they had to be told, don't ask him about it. It's a source. Don't ask him about it. He's going to get all weird. Great stuff. Page 267. And Star Trek Halloween. Page 268. A Star Trek Halloween special? Okay, sure. Why not?
Look at that Frank Avia cover. Oh,
yeah. Yep. Christopher Sequeira with Joe Eisma on the artwork chores as well. All right. Let's get a little further in. Page 2.
The back of the book is really long this month. Holy mackerel.
It is. Yeah. 271 has 3 things worth mentioning that I'll just...
It sure does.
Bill Sienkiewicz's Mutants and Moon Knights Artisan Edition, followed by Walter Simonson's Fantastic Four Artist Edition, and then John Romita, the one and only John Romita, Amazing Spider-Man Daily Comic Strips Artist Edition.
Yep. 1977, Romita was the first artist on the Spider-Man Daily Comic Strip.
Yep. So check those out if you have the money for them. They're all $150 a pop, except for the art book by Bill Sienkiewicz, which is only $40. But yeah, check them out on page 271. Page 273.
This looks interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks very interesting. Patrick McDonnell. Adventure unlike you've ever read, imbued with the creativity, artwork, and heart of Patrick McDonnell, the beloved creator of the comic strip Mutts. This all-new graphic novel love letter features the classic Marvel superheroes, including Fantastic Four, Incredible Hulk, Captain America, Black Panther, and Spider-Man, and is the synthesis of McDonnell's positive, inspirational sensibility and Marvel's blockbuster brand. Using the Marvel Universe's avatars, McDonnell muses on how comics changed his life and inspired him to become a cartoonist. That is really fascinating to me. I love
absolutely
it too. So yeah, might have to check that out. That's excellent. 273 for that.
Page 304 when you get there.
Mm-hmm. Parker Girls final issue.
Great stuff.
Yep. Issue 10 of that out of Abstract Studios on page 274, which means there will be a trade coming. Project Cryptid on page 276. Grant Morrison and Various. You had me at Grant Morrison, not at Various, but PJ Holden, Jordi Perez, and others on the artwork chores. New Ahoy anthology series featuring Bigfoot, Yetis, Nessies, Devils, and good for Ahoy right here. That's I love an anthology, and to get Grant Morrison involved with it just makes me even much more interested on page 276.
And on that same page, I must point out Serial, the trade paperback.
Yep.
This is the collection of a bunch of loosely serialized gothic horror stories written by Mark Russell with art by Peter Snyberg of Starman fame, starring analog versions of famous breakfast cereal mascots. So instead of Count Chocula, you've got the Marquis de Coco and so on. It's brilliant. It's something that was made almost exclusively for me, I feel, and it appeared sporadically in various Ahoy published Edgar Allan Poe anthology miniseries, and now the whole thing's collected with an all-new 3-part conclusion in this trade. So it's definitely in my shopping cart.
Very nice.
Page 304 is another Mark Russell written book that looks interesting.
Let's check it out. Here we are. 304. Here we are.
Rumpus Room, number 1.
Yep.
Meet Bob Shrunk, technocrat, billionaire, collector of bad art, and victim of a hideous skin condition that can only be treated with a highly illicit and definitely not FDA-approved face cream that must be harvested from human beings. Bob isn't unfair, though. He's happy to let his guests select who will be next to be banished from the Rumpus Room and sent up to their doom. There's just one thing Bob doesn't know. One of his current guests is an undercover cop, and she's carrying a concealed gun. That is a Tony Harris cover, by the way.
Yep, and it is gorgeous.
Yes, it is.
My goodness.
He hasn't lost a step. Woof.
Oh, he has not. Well, 5-issue miniseries and interesting premise, to say the least.
No, yep, it's certainly thought-provoking. Maybe a little too dark and grisly for my taste, though.
Oh, yeah, the sneak peek, too. Ooh, that's good.
Yep.
Very good.
What else you got, Livy Pooh?
I'm sure I've got plenty of stuff. I just need to get to it. That's the problem. Let's go with 314. Al Capone, the hardcover. Black panel press. Al Capone, family man, community leader, industrious smuggler, or vicious killer, you decide. Born into a poor Italian family in Brooklyn in 1899, little Alfonso didn't have a lot of options, so he'd have to get creative in order to make a name for himself, and he sure as hell did. Bit of cards, some enforcing, maybe a little protection are a great start. A man's gotta provide for his family, capiche? But when
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Continue, please.
No, please. But when Prohibition starts in 1920, Al Capone will discover his golden ticket to untold fame and fortune.
Just don't give him a baseball bat.
Yep. Because you're probably not going to live. Well worth checking out there. That was page 314 for that one, Al Capone.
I'm on 327 when you get there.
Okey-dokey. 327. Here we are.
So Dashiell Hammett is, of course, one of the great detective. I mean, when we think about the idea of the detective novel, you think of Raymond Chandler, you think of Dashiell Hammett. He wrote the Maltese Falcon, among many others. And now they've done an illustrated version. One of his most famous stories, The Continental Op. So this looks beautiful. John K. Snyder III on the illustrations. So if you love detective fiction and you haven't read Dashiell Hammett, you got to read Dashiell Hammett. He's one of the originators of it, essentially, in the modern sense.
Very nice. Page 330, The Case of the Bleeding Wall. Casey Lanslade and Joe R. Lansdale. Champion Moho storyteller Joe Lanslade and his daughter, Casey Lanslade, joined forces with award-winning artist Danielle Serra and colorist Tom Napolitano to bring you Dana and Jaina, the new dynamic duo of supernormal sleuthing. So it's sort of a supernatural mystery element being brought to us here on page 330. You want to go ahead and check that out? And then 331, The Left-Hand Path by Scott Bryan Wilson and Ken Knudsen. Ken Knudsen is an artist that I've interviewed in the past, and his my monkey's name is Jennifer. Was a favorite of mine in my college years. But returning to their homeworld, a deep space crew investigates the ship that crashed there, killing everything. What they find inside is a paradox that seems to have no center. This is doom-laden space horror by Scott Bryan Wilson and Ken Knudsen. You have been warned. Available for you on page 331.
On page 347 when you get there.
Excellent. Okay. I think we can probably get there. 347. Right before then, Photonic, Man of Light in trade paperback. This is page 342. Photonic is bring sexy Silver Age comics back. A reluctant disabled superhero, a larger-than-life supervillain who wants to enslave humanity, two unlikely sidekicks, and a huge dose of adventure. Photonic Man of Light is the feel-good graphic novel of the fall. And they had me at Silver Age style for that one. Plus Ciro Tota with Stephanie Petru on the writing, artwork, and cover chores for that. All available for you on page 342. All right, you said 347, correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
So Fantagraphics, Dauntless Dames, edited by Trina Robbins and Peter Maresca, the audacious exploits of 10 adventures female stars from the golden age of comic strips. Both a product of their era and ahead of their time, the women in these stories gave their Depression-era audience just what they needed. Present an extra-large format, here are the pulse-petting tales of these incredible women, both known and unknown to comics fans, and most are reprinted here for the first time in 3/4 of a century. Sounds like a vital historical edition.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent.
And then on page 349, The Art of Arthur Adams.
Ah, yes. Beautiful. Wow. Comprehensive retrospective, compiling the celebrated comic artist and showcased by highlighting his singular voice, which has garnered the praise of his peers and fans worldwide. So if you want a little bit of everything from the life of Art Adams available for you, it's all there for you on page 349. Ah, yes. 358. Spider-Ham, A Pig in Time, graphic novel. Steve Fox and Shadia Amin. It's an all-ages Spider-Ham story, and really, we all need a little bit of that, don't we? And that's presented to us right there on page 358. It's for kids, it's for adults, it's for whoever you want it to be. It's Spider-Man. 358. Getting further down here, Humanoids has a lot to say. Here we go. Hyperion Avenue, page 376. Scott Lang, Look Out for the Little Guy. This was a book that was toted in the Ant-Man and Quantumania movie, and now it has been released. I really, really hope that they do an audiobook of this with Paul Rudd, because that would just be well worth it. But here is Scott Lang's biography for you. If you were looking for that in any way, shape, or form, Hyperion Avenue's got it covered on page 376.
And at the very top of that same page, back in print, is Bill Morrison's excellent graphic novel adaptation of the Beatles animated film Yellow Submarine. Excellent. Originally from Dark Horse, now it's out from Inside Comics.
Very cool. Very cool indeed. All right. Bringing it further along here to Iron Circus Comics on page 379. Failure to Launch, a tour of ill-fated futures. History is often written by the winners, but now the award-winning independent publisher Iron Circus is jumping through the cracks in history to spotlight those who didn't let failure stop their dreams. Failure to Launch, a tour of ill-fated futures, is a lighthearted educational tour of, so far, unrealized technological and societal advances promised in years past, but which never came to be. Failure to Once tells the tales of what could have been but wasn't. Planned utopias in space, wild inventions, attempts to improve society, robot pets, and predictions of Armageddon. With over 300 pages of full-color comics, this collection of disasters explores a wide variety of hopes and dreams falling to pieces. Sounds right up my alley. On page 379. What could have been, but most definitely was not.
When you get there, I have some stuff on page 418.
Okie dokie. Here we are. Page 396. Genitales Toshigawa by our good friend Martheus Wade and his wife Janet Wade. Artwork by Martheus. The Toshigawa ninja clan has long guarded Japan from the shadows. Now Emperor of Japan Terminus wants to destroy the remaining members of the Toshigawa clan. The only person that can stop him is his daughter, Chiandrea. There we go. But before he can flee to America and continue her training, just to deal with the formidable Desai and attempt to rescue her friend from his clutches. Martheus is a longtime supporter and friend of CGS. He's been to super shows. He's been to gatherings. He's hung out in my hotel room. It's a long standing friendship with Martheus, and I've had him on Comic Timing tons of times as well. And he's been here on CGS. You have to support Genitales Toshigawa issue 1 if you can. Because honestly, it's well worth your time. He's an excellent artist, terrific draftsman, and along with Janet, he's been writing Genitales for years now, and now this is a brand spanking new one out there on page 396. Long time friend of the show, supporting Martheus. Prince in Comics hardcover, page 397. Nicholas Finet and Tony Lorenzo. Prince,
one of my all-time favorite musicians.
was a complete artist, all at once performer, composer, performer, multi-instrumentalist and producer, a real showman on stage. And songs like 1999 and Purple Rain made him an international star. And here in his extraordinary destiny, in a mix of colorfully illustrated articles and comics, give us Prince in Comics by Nicholas Finet and Tony Lorenzo on page 397.
Across from that, the great Willie Nelson has a comic as well.
Yes, he does. That one by T.J. Kirsch with Adam Walmsley and Jeremy Massey. Again. Okay. What was that page number, sir?
418.
418. Okay. Penguin Classics, real quick. 413. Penguin Classics, Marvel Collection, The Avengers.
Oh, these are great books. Yeah.
Yep. Penguin Classics, Marvel Collection, The Fantastic Four. Well worth checking out. And they're excellent collections of
beautifully produced, very high quality. These Penguin collections, and they're cheap. Yep.
Relatively cheap for
there's soft covers and hard covers that they curate, key stories from the character's history. So
page 413, and there's X-Men edition of that on page 414 as well. Alrighty.
All right. So first of all, Battle Action number 5. This is Rebellion 2000 AD. Garth Ennis is doing a military history story. That's enough. Because no one does it better. He's doing a story set in the Spanish Civil War. And then you have, Nina Petrova and the Angels of Death, which takes place on the Eastern Front. I'm very much looking forward to buying them. I must have missed this miniseries because there are obviously issues 1 through 4. Shame on me. And next to that, very interesting, Misty, 45 Years of Fear. In 1978, British comics were challenged with the release of Misty, the classic cult horror comic for girls. Mastered by Pat Mills, the original editor of 2000 AD, and called, quote, the most peculiar, imaginative, and challenging work in British comics by the New Statesman. This weekly comic features the best comics talent working on haunting, terrifying tales from high 70s glamour to chilling stories that have haunted readers for decades. The Essential Collection curates the creepiest, campiest mystery serials and short stories alongside critical essays. Sounds great. Wow.
Yes, awesome. Good stuff.
Yep.
420, Matt Kund and Bora Alkal, Dying Days, issue 1. It's the ultimate race against time. When the aging starts, people are aging at a rapid rate. Can the cause and solution be found before it's too late? Nice, simple, text there to work off of, but really scary premise. People are aging super duper fast, and we got to find a solution, or you dead. Check it out, page 420. Dying Days out of Red 5 Comics.
When you get there, I'm on page 442.
Got anything before then, Murd?
No, I don't think I do.
Okie dokie, then I will get us there. Lickety splits.
Lickety split. Let me poop. All right, so
yes,
this is beautiful.
It's
the Marvel Comics Library, Volume 5, Silver Surfer, 1968 to 1970, hardcover. So this is the great Lee Buscema Silver Age series. Kirby came for the last issue, and that last issue, we talked about that last issue in our Silver Surfer Spotlight some years back. These, I've seen other editions of this series. These books are enormous. And they're $200, so they're expensive, but you're getting very high quality, high production value reprints of these stories. And if you love the Silver Surfer, you can find these stories in more affordable editions too. But these are beautiful John Buscema drawn Silver Surfer stories from the late Silver Age. Great series.
Yep. And on that same page, the Marvel Age of Comics, 1961.
I had this book. It's fantastic.
Yep. That's out of Taschen.
Yep. This book goes into, it takes you through the whole history of Marvel, in terms of its publishing from 1961 to 1960, with Roy Thomas, of course, at the helm. So it's a great book.
And on that very same page, I will also point out something that I will need to check out because I'm a huge fan of the Netflix series Oddballs. It just randomly popped up one day on my Netflix recommendations, and I checked it out. It's very much in the vein of a late 2000s Cartoon Network show, Oddballs. Kind of reminds me a little bit of those super zany shows that just also manages to craft a pretty good story to it. And it's about, this all white main character and his crocodile best friend, and a girl from the future shows up at one point and winds up joining their school too. And it's the zany adventures that they go on along the way. And this is the graphic novel that the animated series was eventually based on. So yeah, check out Oddballs and graphic novel out of Tarcher Peregrine on page 442.
I'm ready when you are for tomorrow's.
Always ready.
So this month is chock full of new stuff and reissues. So we've got back issue 148, which focuses on, Bronze Age Adam Strange, from Beyond the Unknown, the Fabulous World of Krypton. So we're getting into some blast off of the DC superstars of space. Mongol, the Omega Men. Murd, you'd love this. Then you got Jack Kirby Collector 88. This issue will explore people's quest for and purchase of Jack's original artwork, what it means to them to own not just the art, but the Kirby comics themselves. What a great concept for that issue.
Yeah.
Collectors share personal stories about meeting Jack and never published photos from their encounters, choice fan art, and fan fiction pertaining to Jack, and some of the coolest memorabilia and Kirby art you've ever laid eyes on. Ooh, that sounds fabulous. And also on the bottom of page, I missed this, on the bottom of page 445, and this is an Eisner nominee, they did a Charlton Companion softcover. Do you know about this, Murd?
Yeah. They first published this several years ago.
I totally missed this. Fantastic.
Right there with the Batcave Companion.
The Batcave Companion is a must for any serious Batman fan. That is a superb companion piece.
Seconded.
Yep.
Alrighty. Anything else in the main portion, or are we heading?
Oh, you just turned past the Valiant section.
Yes, I did.
And as usual, they're publishing exactly one comic book this month, but it's a good one. It's a new Ninjak miniseries called
Parker again.
Ninjak Super Killers. It's written by Jeff Parker.
Look at the artist.
And it's time to support Norton.
Nice.
Mike Norton. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, they had me at Parker, but Norton's just icing on the cake.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, that's terrific. Yeah.
And it's a globe-trotting noir tale. Ooh. All right.
Yeah, very different take on Ninjak than what we've gotten before. Yeah, this could be really awesome. Page 440.
Give that a try.
Yep. Always supporting Norton.
And Norton doing noir. Come on.
Can't beat that. Alrighty. And
What's your manga pick this month, honey?
let's see. I gotta find the craziest shit I can find. Let's see if I can make that magic happen. Alrighty. Get deep in here. Oh, well, this is not exactly crazy, but page 477, Star Wars The Mandalorian. In manga form. This is a manga presented by Yusuke Osawa, the official manga adaptation of The Mandalorian, available for you here on page 477. So whether you've actually checked out the Disney Plus series or whether you would just rather have the manga version of it available for you to discover beforehand, this is just a retelling of that Disney Plus series, beginning here with volume 1 on page 477, and the artwork is great. So good for for getting solid talent behind it. The Mandalorian on page 477. All right, and then I'll scroll through and try to find at least one more that catches my eye, and then we can go ahead and call this one, unless there's some tchotchkes that we need to point out later on.
And indeed, there are.
Murd and a tchotchke. I can't wait.
All right, great. So let me find one more wacky name that I find here. Let's see if anything else is actually screaming at me this month. Let's see. You know what? I don't think so, actually. So yeah, screw it. I'm gonna call it. Let's tchotchke away.
Go ahead, Murd.
All right. Let me see here. All right. Well, first off, on in the merchandise section, page M15, there is a beautiful diorama statue of that.
Wow. Look at that.
Willy Wonka in his chocolate room, perched on a candy toadstool with another candy toadstool at the tip of his walking stick across his back, having a cup of cocoa. Yeah, it's
very nice.
Great design there for $80.
Yep.
Ian, did you go past some Toon Tumblers?
I believe.
Did I imagine that?
I don't know if they were necessarily Toon Tumblers, but they are in the same style as Toon Tumblers. Yeah. Let's see. Is that? Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll have to actually find the page that they're on for further reference to that.
I wasn't sure if Toon Tumblers was still a going concern. I love their stuff.
That's exactly what I was thinking with that as well there, Chris. So if I can find it once we're done with the other pages here, I will certainly do.
Sorry, Murd. Go ahead.
Ooh.
Oh, let's see.
While he's looking, M31 has some vinyl Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse figures that are really, really, really pretty. I'm not a vinyl collector, but if I was, these figures would be there, including the Spot for that matter. And the Spot one is on the spot. Like that's good stuff.
And when Murd's done, I found the Toon Tumblers.
Excellent. Well, what page number? Oh, here we are, right there. How about?
I don't want to step on Murd's toes.
Oh, please. M41, they're back.
Well, to avoid doing that, let's turn all the way back to page 17.
Let's do it. Okay, there we are. Am I close? I think I'm close. Here we go. 5, 7, 9. Here we go. 13, 15,
Wonka.
17.
And there's Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Wow.
Great character.
It's based on his animated appearance. We've learned that he's going to be showing up in live action pretty soon. So There's a statue of him from Gentle Giant Limited.
Excellent.
Page 23 has our cover boys here, Darkwing Duck and Negaduck, with a bevy of accessories and some exchangeable heads.
Oh yeah, the expressions on their face are dynamite good, and I love that the one of the accessories is a chainsaw.
And of course, the trademark gas gun with a little cloud of gas poofing out of the front.
Of course.
And there's Tyrion Lannister in statue form from Game of Thrones.
On M24, yep.
Let's see. Flipping along here. Page M37. We've got a variety of Godzilla versus Kong toys here. They're expensive. They're $51 each, but they're large and they're multi-articulated. So there's a Kong that I think a lot of kids would have fun playing with. Big giant, 6.25 inches tall. That's not as big as I thought. But it's got 16 points of articulation. There's also a Mothra, a King Ghidorah, and a Godzilla. I mean, he's not going to replace your beloved Gotti in your heart there, Chris, but I'm sure this one doesn't have a stick-out tongue, but it's still pretty cool.
Nope. Sure does have spikes, though.
Yep.
As a good Godzilla should. And I think there was something on page M4. There's the Toon Tumblers.
Yeah.
M41 for that. And they're from Pop Fun. And some of these are reproductions of Toon Tumblers that they've made before, but some of them are new.
No, you got a Bronze Age Captain America. It's a great glass. And that Dr. Doom is from the posters Kirby did.
Yes.
For I think it was the Marvel Mania concern in the early 1970s. And then Ian, for you have a 1990s X-Men glass.
I was going to say that 1990s X-Men glass is so straight out of Pizza Hut that this makes me that much more interested in it than the classic X-Men one. They've issued before.
They have indeed. Yep.
And I may even own that. I'll have to double check.
And great Silver Surfer. That's an offered again there, but a Miles Morales and a Deadpool. Good stuff. I'm glad to see they're still producing glasses.
Absolutely, yeah. All right. Anything else of note, sir, or shall we shoot our bolt?
Actually, right there, page 49.
Yeah.
There's a very cute shoujo manga style Kate Bishop Hawkeye statue.
Oh wow, Murd, good
Pizza
call.
Dog.
Nice.
Good call, Murd.
Everyone needs Pizza Dog in their life. I agree with that pick. Well done.
Okay, well then let that be the note on which we end.
Okay, no, one
Bolt
more
a shot, gentlemen.
One more. Marvel premiere.
Right.
Rhino. Okay, now we're done. Excellent job, gentlemen. Going through previews in a mighty fashion as always, and hopefully you'll be able to select some things. And most importantly, support Norton and support Martheus Wade, longtime friends of the show. They deserve your support. Let's get them as many people as possible buying their books. So make that happen. Definitely.
You're here.
All right. And once again, patreon.com/comicgeekspeak for all of you folks and your continued support of the show. We really do appreciate it in any way that you can give it, whether it be through donations or whether it just be through, spreading the word about the show. Whatever you can do for us, it's excellent. And we thank you so much for all of that. Patreon.com/comicgeekspeak. And let me go ahead and get the end music rolling while Murd gets his Shane glasses on and gets ready to roll us out. So, one moment here. And over to you, Murd.
If you'd like to send us an email, our address is comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. If you'd like to let us hear your lovely voices, you can call us and leave a voicemail at 267-702-6642. You can go to Facebook and like us there, and also join our Comic Geek Speak super group where you can talk back to us about our various episodes and also just start discussion threads on any geeky topic you like with your fellow CGS listeners. You can also go to thecomicforums.vanillacommunity.com, our original forum forum and do pretty much the same thing. You can follow us on Twitter, where our handle is @ComicGeekSpeak. You can go to youtube.com/ComicGeekSpeak, where you can watch the video versions of all of our latest podcast episodes, including this one. Great way to follow us along on our monthly previews catalog odysseys. You can see what we're seeing as we turn the pages. We give special thanks, as always, to those of you who have financially supported the show through Patreon or any other means. We appreciate it, and the show would not be what it is today without your help. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.
And nobody sticks a tongue out like Godzilla.